on my drive. I've been futzing around with the new phone, and I like it. I unfortunately don't see it working properly yet with the car. It's still doing the same thing, unfortunately. And I made sure to ask for a compatible unit. So I think that this is the best I can ask for. And I'm going to attempt to buy a new data cable. Hopefully find one that's got like an Android Auto certification sticker on it or something. Something that gives me an assurance that it works with what it's for. But I know where I'm going right now, so I don't need the GPS back yet. I'll need it a little bit later on in the trip. So, as you guys have seen, there's a lot going on in what's moving forward, and people don't fully understand it, but it actually makes perfect sense when you actually understand a little bit about the economic political reactions that are meant to happen, right? There are circumstances which are having a effect within Iran that has shattered the country's Islamic State unity. They've gone into hardcore factionalization, and it's creating breathing room for people to drop their some of their fear of the Islamic State as a direct force in their lives. And the threats were necessary. The insults were necessary. Because different factions are responding to different things. And there are further consequences. China has to delay its engagement on Taiwan because they don't have the oil anymore. So choosing to act because of the hostage situation originally is one thing, right? Nobody's paying attention to what's going on the other side and what it means, right? And if you're the kind of person that's just like, Taiwan, well, all you Taiwan people, you can thank Donald Trump. Donald Trump may have just saved Taiwan. So you can thank your pedophile for saving Taiwan. Go ahead and thank him, right? Or you could just thank the United States, in which this pedophile, we somehow chose to be our face. We could do that, right? If we want to play the let's call him the name of what we know, or whatever, right? But the way this fucking guy runs the country, he'll probably have Palm Beach Pete come to the fucking White House just to be like, see, he's not Jeff. The ultimate gaslight as he sits there and takes with Palm Beach Pete. And then all of a sudden, okay, all right, so is he there? So all this shit that's going around on X showing the president at parties, not the weird shit that may be I don't know, there's something really sus about these drops with Trump in the worst situations. But wow, you know, like, imagine it's just like, no, that's Palm Beach Pete. That's not. This is Palm Beach Pete. Like, this guy, man, like, just you know, I can't go anywhere in Palm Beach. I fucking run into this guy, right? Like, it'll be that, and that'll be the end of it, because the press is retarded, and the conspiracy theorists don't know that they are retarded too, and that's why we're here, right? And that's why we're here. You know, you should probably spend less time trying to prove you were right about how awful things are, and more time being better than awful people by comparison. Look at me being a man of honor and integrity, and you know, I have all the things these people are not, right? In my world, we don't fucking work with these kinds of people that we don't know, that live a better life than us, and this, that, and the other thing, right? Do we need everything that our fucking nation does to be done by blackmailed people? Are we so adverse to running things that we must trust people that seek power that are blackmailable, right? But the problem is that when you have your communist type of revolution, you're going to have imbeciles in charge, because imbeciles don't understand that even if you were handed a silver spoon in your mouth, if you're able to hold a position of strength, it's because you're good at it, right? The people that build the buildings don't appreciate the people that engineer the buildings. And then you get a lower quality of engineer because you resent appreciating them, and you resent paying them, because with resent comes depreciation of value, and then you get bullshit reductionist postmodern brutalist architecture. That so yeah, I think that we are just thoroughly, I don't know, we're like apathetic. There's a kind of apathy that I don't understand. And honestly, there's a chicken and the egg to many aspects of this, right? It is quite something. The amount of going along with something that sounds bad because of the level of trust you've established or the level of changing the details of the deal. You understand? Then, slowly you're going to McDonald's and it doesn't taste. I mean, it tastes the same, I suppose, but it ain't made of the same stuff. And then when you fucking, complain about it because you weren't in the conversation, somebody just fucking reduces it to how the whole goddamn conversation concluded in the political debate that became the line item on a regulatory law in the manufacturing, which put a certain nasty piece of shit into your fucking beef. It's the same principle as what gets taken away in the design and execution of a building project, right? We don't do a lot of detail work either, right? It's all smooth, flat, low fucking maintenance. Don't carve into it. Don't put anything that is aesthetically detailed that would require fucking upkeep work to maintain its new, fresh, sleek, professional whatever that you're going for, right? And so now you don't have that. You don't have a population that's interested in keeping up with it, or you would have if it paid right, and you don't want to pay anybody the right amount of pay to do all that, or have enough people in that pay bracket. And that's also part of the point, is certain diversity of things creates so many pay brackets that you may never get to be like a 1%er or even a 10%er, but you're fluctuating between a 20%er and a 30%er or something like that, right? You're not the bottom of the rungs, you're not at the top, but also it pays off the way you work going up and down, right? The wage gap is it's looking at apples and oranges, right? It's one thing to look at a guy who gets paid salary, paid hourly, and another guy who's taking home the profits of the company, right? Or taking home his cut of profits, right? I mean, I suppose if you're the salary guy and if you are the measure of salary, meaning that you're the guy who sets the salary number, right? And this is why people say, oh, he gave himself a raise. And as long as somebody is starving somewhere in the world, you shouldn't give yourself a raise, right? And because of course, they're not trying to blame you. They're just trying to make an example out of you. So one day you don't get to do that anymore, not personally, but nobody gets to do it anymore. All right? Because people don't like it if you give yourself a raise and then you're in a company and it's got a lot of employees, and then that company lays a bunch of people off, and because the way the job market is so hard, it's like you're looking at it, you are the bad guy. You're just doing what a company has to do, right? And from your perspective running a company, it's like you didn't fucking come up with an idea and then needed the government to actually co-sign it, but you did have to go to the government to to put the idea in that market as per the law, and then also have to be subject to regulations, which is why you had to fucking register it in the first place. And so you're reacting to the market, and you're reacting to how the government changes the cost of operation, right? Government is going to affect the cost of operation with the decisions that it makes. And we stopped thinking in terms of deregulating things a long ass fucking time ago. And then when we started deregulating things again, we did it ass backwards to make things dangerous instead of fucking efficient and without losing the safety, using new technology, new thinking to do things better, or with better operations, with better tools and whatnot. And now all of a sudden you got all sorts of surplus, either to grow your business and grow jobs, or to or that other businesses can be established by somebody who says, oh, well, I can afford to payroll people if I start this kind of a business now. I got just enough fucking access to liquidity to fucking start up a business, and I'll need at least fucking 50 people within a fucking month if I want to get this thing going. I gotta do all that, right? Like, because now there's a new way, right? And then you have to be careful that something else doesn't come around to change the circumstances in which something else nullifies the good that did in you going through the whole endeavor in the first place, right? You just don't want something to completely choke you out immediately, right? And now you're a small company, an ethical man, and you can't do what a big corporation does with a fucking lobbyist who fucking makes that argument and makes it for that corporation on that corporation's level. And you don't want to be a fucking corrupting influence on your government, so you don't fucking do that. And you fucking have to suffer if the law goes south. Because you don't want to be part of all the fucking businesses that pushed for this horrible consequence to have them, and then the mob gets sicked on you, right? And that can be on a deadly large scale, that the mob gets sicked on you, because that's kind of the established terror that was the summer of Floyd, right? So we had to spend a very, very long time reconciling the fact that we are wrestling with an already foregone portion of the populace that has made an aspect of big government very necessary for a long fucking time. In the saddest of ways that, your Bill Coopers of the world could have imagined. However, they also don't quite have the power to force the conditions of slavery on anyone else, because we caught that before they had the totality to force it. And there's going to be plenty of unfortunate inescapables that exist in the world, just like, you know, like traffic cameras, unfortunate inescapable for now. I mean, like, listen, things can always flip on a dime, right? But it's a matter of where's our morality at? How much do we really fucking care about camera enforcement on the by the inches, if you will, when you think about it, right? Because some people are a very egregious violator, whom that may be a pattern of behavior. And other people, it's once in a while they're gonna fucking run a red light because nobody the fuck is around except for that camera, right? And that's why you typically hope your municipalities at a certain hour of the night goes to the flashing lights, so that way you just kind of come to a quick stop, take a look, and go. Normally that's what's done. Nobody likes to live in the Panopticon. Except for highly conditioned people of the upper stratum who are typically civil, well-behaved, decent people, seemingly. And I don't want to live in a fucking Panopticon just so we can catch the next Palm Beach Pete. Oh yeah, we must live in a surveillance state because it's totally possible for a pedophile to disappear into it. Now, this is killing us because he's so fucking high profile, he's so fucking important, and so fucking egregious, and who knows if Palm Beach Pete Epstein is still operating in capacity. Because if he lives in fucking Palm Beach, it means he's right around the fucking airport, can catch a goddamn helicopter to St. James, any fucking saint size of fucking thing that you want, and he's back to being whatever he really is within the incunabula. That's if he's that big of a character, you know? I still say that he's like a low-level guy that was still going to be... It's like, if you've watched enough movies with all the supervillains and shit, everybody understands like the low-level guy. He's all the way in on the fucking conspiracy, if you will, but he's just getting perks. He's just getting perks within his domain. You know, he's part of the people that are doing central planning for various parts of the world that are within his sphere of interest. I see Howard there. I see a few of you guys. While this screen is new and fresh, it's much easier to read. George Smith, I am from Italy. Hey, ciao. I am partly of Italian descent myself. So, good to see you. Alright. Listen to music. Oh yeah, I listen to music, I make music. I'm a metalhead. Keep marching, brother. Yes. And, so, George, how do you, how are you certain that he is not? I am not, like I made a video, about my concern about the Palm Beach Pete thing. And I don't know. I am asking all of the right questions. That's the biggest thing, right? At the very least, going live, one can use one's intelligence and ask the right questions. You never, for most people, it's, you got to appreciate the ability to ask the right questions. To be able to gauge what level of knowledge of what a something is you are operating at. What's going to move you forward usefully with the scope of what that is, right? And so the best I can do, because there's not going to be much to extract from Palm Beach Pete, other than being obsessed with fucking catching him telling in some way, shape, or form, which I'll leave that to people that are in the fucking room with him, because that's about it, who he's in the room with. And you're opening yourself up to a certain kind of scrutiny, and I don't know how our network of law enforcement works on any issue that is not particularly of interest to the federal government. If Palm Beach Pete is nothing, and the federal government should have nothing to do with him other than protecting his rights, right? Which makes it hairy for somebody to do things on a state level or municipal level, kind of city level, and all that shit, right? Because it's very easy to see that this has been enough time for Epstein to have constructed a new identity, used like a speech therapist or whatever to change his talking mannerisms. It's entirely possible that the whole sickening fucking display with Steve Bannon was an act, right? Like the whole, like, ripping off Woody Allen's fucking mannerisms, but doing it slow. Like, maybe he was doing a Woody Allen impression, and that Palm Beach Pete is the real fucking voice of Jeffrey Epstein. We've never heard Jeffrey Epstein's voice outside of his Woody Allen impression for Steve Bannon. Okay? So that's a possibility. That might be why Steve Bannon released this, because he knew perhaps that Jeffrey Epstein was ready to exploit the witness protection program's ability to fucking turn you into another person. And because he's a narcissist, and he also knows that he's going to have to come out with it, right? And he might be a psychopath, right? Because you know what? He handled failing the lie detector, you see, pretty well. He didn't he didn't flip the fuck out about it. It's either a psychopath or a guy who is not Jeffrey Epstein, who has to deal with now Here he is dealing with a lie detector that interprets that he has lied about something, right? And it's going to do, it's just, he's going to live with the scandal, and he is going to milk the scandal, and he'll probably want to even go along with the act a little bit and maybe be a little nervous or talk like he's a little nervous even though he's not. It's such a mind fuck. It is such a mind fuck. It's designed to fucking turn you off. And people are going to lose a lot of fucking interest. Which honestly, considering how the public still needs to learn more, right? Right now, the Epstein investigation would be a poisoned investigation because of the entire manner in which it is approached. They are not following the crime to the criminal. They are following the suspect in search of connection to the crime. That is all you need to know that this will eternally go nowhere. Only what is found through following the crime to the criminals is what's going to do it. And that may drive you mad because you ain't got nobody but a guy that's easy to point the finger at. Shit don't have to be AI'd to be fake. It can just be a doctored fucking picture, right? It's just doctored, right? And that is literally what AI does when it makes an image. When AI makes an image, it's stealing fractions of the of what the image is, making its own interpretive copy of it in real time, right? And so it's a collage that is built seamlessly that doesn't look like a collage. Getting in full motion, full three-dimensionality. You know, they've had this they have technology way ahead of the technology by the time it's out. I was just listening to Bill Cooper talking to John Lear in 1993 about stealth helicopters that they saw in like 1989. We have had the shit that took out Osama bin Laden for forever. And some UFO incidents can be based on it because they are silent. Now, a silent helicopter, as far as I understand it, is still going to do the wind effect. So, you know, if you get the wind effect from a low-flying UFO, you're stealth helicopter. So anyway, all right, I think this was a good stream for today. I will catch you guys later.